Welcome back, everybody, to SPX 2023. I'm Rusty.
I'm Joe, and with us today is...
Mary Dumas.
Mary Dumas, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the table. Welcome to SPX.
SPX is pretty awesome, I'll tell you.
Is this your first SPX?
I came last year for the first time ever, and it's amazing because I'm a Comic-Con person.
Okay.
And the difference is night and day for comics people who like comic books and new creators. This is the place to be, not at Comic-Cons.
And that's good for that crowd, but that's like people collecting things, and this is more people creating things.
This is more people creating things and people collecting things, and no actors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there aren't too many celebrity photo ops here.
No.
Yeah. Now, we may end up going Hollywood at some point.
Yeah, no, I remember you were trying to charge for photos, and that was really kind of awkward and unbecoming.
Yeah, I made too much money. It was too popular.
It was. You drained people. They couldn't buy comics.
Yeah, so we stopped that.
But Mary, you have comics that you've made.
Yeah, it's kind of my retirement.
Oh, wow.
I started out about 8 years ago with a friend, and we did a kind of a funny one, Romeo x Julian.
All right.
You can figure out where that one went. And you know, it was really enjoyable, and it was kind of a crash course in making comic books. And I enjoyed it so much, I figured, you know, I've got this drawer full of screenplays that I've been writing since I was 12. Let's see what I can do with them. So the current one that I'm working on is based on stories my dad told me. He was a World War II veteran.
Oh, wow.
And it also incorporates my interest in the history of LGBTQ rights. So it kind of adds the two of them together, and I came up with a historical novel, a historical graphic novel called The Lucky Ones.
What I guess, how much of your dad's story did you include versus how much did you draw from research?
Well, whenever you're doing a World War II story, everybody knows everything about World War II. So my intention was to bring up some of the battles that we don't talk about, because we didn't do such a good job in them.
Right.
You know, when you're writing history, it's the people who won
Absolutely.
that gets to write the history.
The victors tell what they want to tell.
Exactly, and you're right. They tell what they want to tell, not the places where they screwed up here and there. So that some of that is stories that my father told me, and I had to really do some research to see if he had made them up. But indeed,
well, because if they are struggles, they're probably lesser known.
Right.
They're going to be so much harder to learn about.
Yeah.
Right, and of course, any warrior will tell you that, just like firefighters, it's a whole lot of boredom that's punctuated by some real serious
catastrophe.
The most extreme, and then like chill out for a while.
Yeah, so I kind of incorporated much of that in there. Now of course, because you don't want that kind of situation where somebody comes and says, "You wrote that about my grandfather."
Oh, yeah.
I need to point out that this is a historical novel, a fictional historical novel. So while I don't know that there were any gay men in this particular unit that I'm talking about, I do know how gay men were treated because of the era that it was.
Yeah, you don't know necessarily there were any here, but you know there were some there.
Yes.
Yeah, the environment was there, certainly.
Right. So, you know, even though we don't talk about them, and some of them were heroes, they were there. Just like the left-handed people were there.
Yes, exactly.
It's an illusion to assume otherwise.
Yes.
So the thing that I wanted to bring my book to you for attention was because it's not published yet. I've got 40 copies here at SPX, and I'm talking to the publishers that
that's really cool.
here.
Awesome.
So that's another thing I wanted to point out, is that's what SPX is better than Comic-Con's for.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
There's actually people looking for your stuff here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's been quite the experience, talking to, walking up and saying, so I've got this book that is basically the story of a group of World War II soldiers, and so think about it this way. It's the story, if they really told the real story of the Band of Brothers, because two gay people are in it. So you're talking about 1 in 10 people in the United States, in the world, is gay.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you got 12 guys together, there's a possibility
Yeah,
at least one of them is gay.
They're not being one.
Yeah. So the way I've written it is it's kind of a back and forth between 1995, the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the end of the war, and 1945, the end of the war for this one gentleman. And he has had nightmares for 50 years. His grandson finds out there's going to be this 50th reunion and drags him to Boston to go to the reunion. The whole time the fellow is thinking, I'm the only survivor of this unit. Why do I want to go?
Right.
Which brings out the name The Lucky Ones. He was the lucky one.
Oh, wow.
So he does go to the reunion, but in the meantime, we as the reader get to look into his mind and recall the memories he has of at war or in the war. So it's something that makes comic books special, that you can do stuff like that, and the way that the story is told, the way the art changes from area to area, that you just can't do that kind of in a just a novel.
No, you're not relying upon special effects or budgetary constraints.
It's like an unlimited budget movie.
Exactly. So in one particular part in this, I do have them getting ready to travel from the Boston area to Europe, and so I was able to look up the name exactly of the boat that this particular unit of combat engineers probably would have been on. That's going amazing. From Boston. So the art that I was able to come up with for it is really that particular boat while they're saying farewell.
So not just to be able to name it, but be able to get the visual and everything.
Exactly. So that's something that, one-handed.
Yeah.
So as you can see in this one,
there you go.
That's the boat that they probably would have taken from Boston Harbor to England.
Right.
So that's where the fun of writing historical novels is. You can really research into weird stuff that, like, who the hell cares what boat they took? You say, they took a boat, but, well, no, this boat.
But you want to represent it.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't just take a boat. They took a certain boat. So.
Right. And then the other things that I like to portray in here, so there's the times that they go to a small village and it's not at war, or that the war has bypassed it, and then one scene later, one panel later, I can show those same men walking through the streets of that village that has been destroyed.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So another thing that comic books can show, and just writing a novel, you don't get that real feeling of the juxtaposition of excuse me, that's a word, of the difference.
Yeah, the direct comparison.
Yeah.
You're relying a lot on what they are thinking in their head.
Yeah, you can only describe it with so much. To be able to actually show it is a very unique comic thing.
So what I've got out right now is only what I'm calling volume 1 of 2. So it does end on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
One of the fellows has been shot. Does he survive?
Oh my.
Okay. And so I do have the cover for volume 2, which I am surprising people with in this book, and it kind of tells where the story continues from there. I'm really proud of it. I hope that somebody in the publishing community here I've spoken to.
Yes. Well, and also right here, I'm getting the word out.
Hello there.
Yeah.
So what have you gotten from bringing this from concept to a somewhat finished product? What has that meant for you?
Part of it when I'm writing the really sad bits, and I know that they are pretty much what my father did indeed go through, I found myself weeping at my computer screen as I'm writing it. And then adding in the additional feelings that I have about how the how the queer community has been treated over the decades. It also makes you think really hard what we screwed up for 70 years.
Yeah.
When we came back from World War II, there was a great big opening of minds that happened with the warriors who came back. Why didn't that continue? Why did the 1950s turn us into the Puritans that we shouldn't? And
180.
exactly. And then additionally, what happened these people who befriended and understood and loved the gay friends that they had? What became of their minds? Was that something that maybe instigated a certain PTSD in the survivor? So that's another part that I extend to in the story. It's been sad, happy, and fun to make this story, and I just think that it would be a fun thing to be able to go into a library someday and say, I did that. I did that. Instead of just, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really enjoying putting it out at table to one at a time to individuals who are buying my individual copies, but boy, wouldn't it be fun.
Yeah, well, one of the great things that you get that interaction here, but also you love knowing that someone is finding it, that they may find something in there where they see themselves. Yeah. And to be able to just broaden that, to a larger
even
group.
Because I'm making it a young adult, which means, let's say high school age on, I feel like it's something that is a teachable moment that, how did we get to this point, And especially since I've got it written, so it's 1995, traveling back to 1945, and then, of course, there will be an epilogue that tells you, why are we at this point when we could be so much farther?
Yeah. And really you have to understand how you got to here to figure out how you're going to fix it.
I think it's fixable.
Yeah.
And it should have been fixed 80 years ago.
Yeah. You're right.
Because, we are coming up on the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Wow.
And the world has changed a lot, but we also seem to keep going back to these bad things.
Yeah.
Mistakes.
Yeah, it's wild to see what challenges keep reoccurring. It doesn't really make any sense, and it's crazy what fear and paranoia can drive people to believe, despite evidence to the contrary. It's it's disheartening, and then all you really can do is you can salvage what you can from the victories and the progress.
Exactly.
And, spreading joy and making people feel important and included. That's pretty much the only source of energy you got in the darkest of times.
And, you change people's minds almost one at a time when you comic book, especially when you comic book, because they're taking that book out, they're seeing the pictures, they're thinking of this era, and they're more viscerally into it because they see the pictures,
and it's humanizing.
Absolutely.
You're bringing a concept to a personal level, so that it's not just an idea of somebody; it's a person.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think
a person that they can incorporate into their memory. That they say this is a person, not somebody that's. That I saw on TV, and the only people I ever see that are gay are people who are drag queens.
Right.
Well, they're not.
Yeah,
that's less than 1% of gay people are drag queens.
It's
and drag
queens,
queens,
but it's not representative.
And I've known straight guys who are drag queens because it's just something that they do as a way of entertaining, right? When you think about the drag queen controversy with going and reading in schools, why couldn't somebody else dress up as, Magellan and read books?
But when you start poking holes in it, it falls apart.
But the reason why the drag queens do it is because they're the ones that step forward and do it. Everybody else can volunteer to do it. Why don't you?
You can complain about them doing it, but you're not going to step in to do it yourself or offer to do it yourself.
That's right. It's like, when we talk about Comic-Cons, we go back to that story about, you're at a Comic-Con and you think you're going to see comics. You're not going to see any comic books at Comic-Cons.
No, they are in the minority of those sort of
nowadays. If you want an actor or if you want baubles from, that they've made in China, that's the place to go. But if you really want to be a collector of comics, and what was fun is this is all called independent comics now. And I'm old enough to remember when they were underground comics. So you find the stories here that you're not going to find in with a guy wearing a cape.
Yeah, you can't really capture that in any other way. Now, Mary, before we let you go, would you like to answer a mystery question?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, let's
Right.
bring in the mystery
Exciting.
machine of mystery questions.
Oh, wow.
Questions that can span the universe. It was
And if
backwards. I didn't
Can I
realize.
make up an answer if I don't know?
Oh.
It's completely. We won't know if it's true or not. So
And
that's
of course,
fine.
let's bring
Hold on
in
1 second.
the purveyor of money,
Oh.
the big quarter truck.
Ooh, so I can win things.
Well, I mean, you win
I
the
can win a
opportunity to
quarter.
answer a question.
So there's a quarter for you to
I'm
hop in the
rich.
machine.
Oh, what's the one on the
Well,
back?
temporarily.
Oh, this is one of the ones from 1976.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
cool.
So pop that in here,
I pop this in here,
and then turn it this way.
and I turn it to the right.
Crank it around, and you'll hear it.
Plunk right out.
Clunk.
Okay.
And
And oh,
there we go.
it's blue.
There you go.
I don't want to break my nails.
So yeah, it can be hard. So
What is your mystery question?
The mystery question is, how would you dream air freshener freshens the air? How would your dream air freshener
Yeah, so if you
freshen
could imagine
the
an
air?
ideal air freshener.
your perfect air freshener.
What would it do to the air? Like, maybe what kind of scent? What do you think?
It would be peppermint.
Peppermint.
That was
It would be
decisive too.
peppermint, yes, because it's a happy smell.
It's
You
true.
know, it's the smell of candy canes, but it's also the smell of breath mints.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I like peppermint.
that's perfect.
Okay, so
And you thought you couldn't answer. You had
Yeah,
an
it's like
answer
no,
immediately.
it was on.
Now, where can people find out more about your project?
so I do actually have a website.
Excellent.
And I've written on these little cards at a Kickstarter campaign near you, but I don't. It's upcoming. I don't want it. I want a publisher.
Of
I want
course,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. But my easy to find web address is theluckyones-comic.com.
Excellent. We'll put that in the
Yeah,
video.
we'll put that right on the little video description online.
So the people that are on this card are the squad. That's the squad.
Fantastic.
And as you're reading the book, you'll start recognizing who each of these guys is.
Yeah.
And yet they're all wearing exactly the same clothes.
Yeah,
So there's another,
That's a trick to it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a trick to it.
Well, thank you so much for sitting
Yes.
with us.
It was
Thank you.
great. It was great. Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah,
glad
and
you were here.
good luck. We'll hopefully find you a home.
It sounds like a
It's
story
al-
definitely worth being heard. So
Yes.
I hope that you find somebody that can help you.
I was gonna say it's already great that you've got it out there in the world at least on your own.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, that's there. And then if we can get that further out, then that'd be amazing.
Right. So what are you doing today, Mary? I'm not doing the dishes or the laundry. I'm writing.
There you go.